This video is the TrainingOne video. It's the very first session that I do with brand new RICS users. This would be for customers that have never used RICS before, meaning that they weren't with our legacy RICS system either. They're brand new to RICS. If you're an existing RICS user and you're converting from RICS 7.7 to RICS Enterprise, you can still view this video. There will be a lot of things that won't apply to you and will be repetitive since you already have your system set up. There will be another TrainingOne video for those existing RICS 7.7 legacy users that will be converting from RICS 7.7 to Enterprise. So to start off, this is the RICS Enterprise login menu. At the top, you will see the address. So whenever you go into your RICS Enterprise, you will have your own address that will take you directly to your organization site. The beauty of RICS Enterprise is you can be on any computer that you want, whether you're at home, at the office, at a hotel, on vacation, on the beach. As long as you have a computer and high-speed internet, as long as it's not a Macintosh computer, you can access RICS Enterprise through Internet Explorer. Basically, I tell people to copy this address into your favorites. So once you're here and you've connected, you can click on favorites and just click on add to favorites. And then that will be listed in your favorites. So you could easily come in once you go through Internet Explorer and just choose RICS Enterprise. The other option is to copy this address and just make a shortcut on your desktop. So if I copied that and I minimized, and I could right click on my desktop, I could go to new, I could go to shortcut, and I could paste that location in here, and that would paste that, and I could name it whatever I want, RICS Enterprise Backroom, and that would give me a shortcut on my desktop. So once you're there, you will see your user ID and password. If you are a new user, we should have provided you a starter user ID and password. So you can go ahead and type that in to the user ID and the password and go ahead and log in. If there's going to be other people on this computer, I don't recommend clicking the Remember Me on this computer. If it's just a home computer, then you can go ahead and check that. That way you don't have to log in each time, and then just click on Log In. Once you log in, this is going to bring you to the main RICS Enterprise menu. I call this the home page. On the home page, you have a few things that I'm going to go over. You have the message center and you have the dashboard. On the message center, if there's any alerts, you'll see that on the screen. Here, this is just a test organization that I have, so it has a lot of system alerts basically telling me that there are some transfers that have passed the receiving date. Normally when you do transfers, it's 3 days, so since it's past that 3 days, it's just telling me that the receiving store, has not received that yet. So you'll get system alerts like that if you're a multi-store organization. Any kind of alert messages that we from RICS Enterprise have for you will also put on your message center. And if it's really important, you'll see that in red. You may also see an alert tab like this up at the top. Basically just trying to bring to your attention, make sure that you read the message center and see what those alerts are all about. Over to the right, I have a video library. What we try to do is put as many training videos out there for all of the different topics in RICS Enterprise. So if you just strictly want to get to the video library where absolutely all of the training videos are, all you have to do is click on this video library, and that is going to bring us to all of the training videos. There's basically two sections in here that I'd like to talk about. The first section is at the top, and that is all of the webinars. So what I do twice a month is we have live webinars. We'll send you emails out and you can sign up for these live webinars. And they're about a half an hour long. I try to pick up different topics that you can just take a half an hour out of your time. These are things that we don't charge for, and I do this a couple times per month. Each session I offer Tuesday and Wednesday normally. So if you can't make it Tuesday, you can make it Wednesday. If you cannot make the live webinars, I record them and I stick them here. So that way you can watch them, in your convenient time. So they'll all be listed here for you. The other training videos are listed down below. So these are on all the different topics. Anything to do with setup is going to be under the setup. Anything to do with point of sale, under point of sale. Anything to do with reporting, inventory, customer, system, miscellaneous, etc. So any of the topics you'll see listed under each tab basically. And then just to get out of there, you can click on the red X. You'll also see if it's a new video, we put the word new in red, just so you kind of know what are the latest videos that we've put out there. The other thing that I do is I put some general topics for videos to make it easy for you to click on. So that's this video training and help. So I have a video just strictly on a dashboard overview. What is the dashboard all about? How do I create it? I have one on just a reporting overview, just kind of the key reports and how to go in them and how to run them. I have one, on a POS overview, so you can just have an overview on how the point of sale works, how to ring up sales, that type of thing. I have one on physical inventory overview. If you're taking a physical, whether you take it, once a year, every quarter, very often, then you'll be able to click on this and get an overview on how to do a physical inventory in Rick's Enterprise. If you are a multiple store, then you can see the transfers overview, how to do transfers back and forth between your stores. And then the last one is the purchasing overview, how to use the purchase order functions in Rick's. The green is the training videos, so that's the play button, and that'll take you to the training video. And the orange is the help file that will show you the actual help documents that you can look at. Basically just typed out, or you can view them on the screen, or you can print them out, either one. At the top right of the screen, we have what's called favorites. If there are certain screens that you go to a lot, like inventory inquiry or a particular report, or you go create SKUs a lot or enter purchase orders, you can basically go to that screen that you go to a lot. So if I went to reporting, sales, and I ran a bestseller report, and I go to that often, I can go to this area, this screen, to where it comes up on the screen, and once it's there, I can click on this green plus sign, and that will add that as one of my favorites. So I can click on that green plus sign, and it will actually add that as a favorite. And as you can see, the alert says favorite added. To the right is our alert message. So if you ever want to know what that says, you can just click on the green. That basically just tells you, things that were added, things that were saved. And then you can just close out, or it just goes away after a second. So now I can be anywhere in Rick's. I can be on the home page in any of these tabs. And if I want to go to one of my favorites, I can just click on the drop down, and I can just choose, okay, I want to go to inventory inquiry. So I can click on it, or I can hit Alt-1 on my keyboard, and that's going to take me right to inventory inquiry. So it's just a quick way to get to places without having to click on the tab and click on that item. It just gets you there quicker. Down at the bottom right, we have what's called preferences. Not a whole lot in there, so if I click on that, there's basically a couple things in there for you to take a look at. One is your favorites. Your favorites are listed in there, so if you wanted to delete any of your favorites, you could just delete those. So anytime you see a red X like this, it means, I want to delete this. So I could delete any one of these, or I could change the order in the order favorites list. I could move it around. If I wanted bestsellers at the top, I could move that around. The other thing that's on this screen is if you want to quickly change your password, you can come into this preferences and click on change password. Now there is another place in Rix which I will show you, the user setup under setup, where you can also change your password, but this is just a quick way to get to a place if you need to change your password. So it'll come up and it will make you put in your old password, your new password, and confirm that, and then you can just change your password. We have rules for the password when you're creating a password. It has to be between 8 and 12 characters long, so no less than 8, no more than 12. And within that password, you have to have at least one number, one lowercase letter, one uppercase letter, one special character. Special character meaning like $, question mark, exclamation point. And then that password cannot contain your login. And then what we also do is every 90 days we request that you change your password. So when you go to do that, it can't repeat any portion of the previous password. Now with all this said, we do provide a password waiver form to you. And if you don't want to follow some of these rules, you can fill out the password waiver form. And basically you could have it, just to do the 8 and 12 characters. You could have 1111, 1111. We have to recommend this because this is internet-based program and because of security, just like, your online banking needs to be secure, we recommend that it stays secure. But there's certain things on the password waiver form. There's basically 3 things that you can choose. So just let us know if you want the password waiver form and we'll send it out. But the 3 things are, the other thing that we do is if someone tries to log in to the system 3 times incorrectly, we're going to basically kick them out of the system. So they would have to have you unlock them, or they could have us at Rix unlock them as well. If you don't want that ever to happen, that is one of the options on the password waiver form. Or you can say, after 5 attempts, so there's more than 3 attempts that you can choose on that. Or if you never want them to get locked out, you can choose that as well. So that's one option there. The other one is if you don't want to have to change your password every 90 days, you can choose not to do that on this password waiver form. And then the third thing is you decide what level security you want. If you want low, basically all you have to do is have 8 to 12 characters, and like I said, you could have 1111, 1111 as your password. Or you could have medium, or you could have high, so you can kind of determine what you want. So if you want that, go ahead and request that from our support department and we'll get that password waiver form. Or you can just keep it as is, what the rules are today. So I can just click on the back key up at the top and get out of that preference screen, and now I'm back to my home page. This will actually take you back to where I last was on the screen. So I was on inventory inquiry. So up here it tells you where you're at, inventory and inventory inquiry. I can easily get back to my home page just by clicking on home, and that'll bring me back to the home page where the message center is and the dashboard. You also have your log off down at the bottom right. I recommend when you want to log off the system, use log off at the bottom right. That physically logs you out of the system. You can click on the red X, but I really recommend you doing the log off instead. That way we know you're physically logged out of the system. While on that subject, if you need to walk away from the computer, maybe you need to help a customer, answer a phone call, help an employee. If you are on a particular screen that requires saving, you really want to save that before you walk away. And I'll go through that here in a little bit, but the reason I say that is if you walk away for 20 minutes or longer, the system will automatically log you off the system. So if you haven't saved what you need to save, it's not going to save what you did. So if you went and created a SKU and you didn't save it, you're going to have to create that SKU again. So my recommendation is that whatever screen you're on, if it requires saving, go ahead and save it first. And if you come back in 5 minutes, it's still going to be there and you can just continue on. But the system will log you off if it sits idle for 20 minutes. So that's how that works. Okay, top right hand corner. This is your serial number, whatever that is. This is the top store owner level. and we treat it like a hierarchy. So if you click on the magnifying glass icon here, this will show us our layout for our store owner level and our stores. Now this particular organization has the 5 different stores, and it has the store owner level. Some of you store owners out there only have 1 store, so you'll still see the store owner top level, but you will probably see just store 1, your store level. Basically, if you are a single store organization, you only have 1 store, you're pretty much going to be able to do most things at this top level, the store owner level. You have to do the setup stuff at the store owner level because that's what makes it go down to all your stores. So if you're a multi-store, you definitely wanted, if you created a SKU, you only want to have to create it once, and that's why you do it at anything to do with setup. You do it at that top level and it just flows down. So if I was a multi-store owner, anything to do with inventory, pretty much I'm going to be doing it at that store level. Whether I'm taking a physical inventory, that you absolutely have to be at the store owner level. If I am returning something to the supplier, I want to take it out of stock, I need to be at the store owner level. That works the same way if you're a single store. If you do receiving as a multi-store owner, you need to be at that store owner level. If I am a single store owner, I can do my receiving at this top level. So just note that if I have 1 store in my organization and that's it, I can do inventory and receiving at the top level. You can also come down to your store level and do it there, but we try to make it as easy as possible if you're a single store owner to do most things at that top level. But basically, if you're a single store, I look at it this way. If you do a physical, still got to go to the store level. And physical, what I mean by that is whether you do it once a year, 3 times a year, how often you take a physical inventory, you're going to have to go to that store level regardless. If you need to void any tickets after completion, you need to go to that store level. And then if you need to return something to the supplier, you need to go to that store level. So you're looking at, those 3 areas as a single store owner that you have to go to this store level instead of the top level. Multi-stores, for the most part, for inventory related things, you're going to go to that store level to do what you need to do, whether it's receiving or returning something to the supplier, and definitely, physical inventories. The system is set up so if say for example, I'm at that store level and I try to do a physical, that won't even be there. It won't even let you do that. So don't worry about you accidentally going into the wrong level and doing something incorrectly. We set up the permissions that way so you're not going to accidentally go into a screen that you're not supposed to. Or like if I am at store level and I try to go set up SKUs, you're not even going to see manage SKUs to set up those SKUs if you're at the store level. And then you'll be like, oh, I need to switch back to that top level in order to create a SKU. So try to make it as the least confusing as possible, but if you have any questions about the organization going back and forth, be sure to let us know. The other thing on the home page is the dashboard. I'm not going to go into detail about the dashboard because I have a 3rd session that I call Training 3 that I devote to reporting, how to run reports, and how to build the dashboard. But if you want to see what that looks like, you basically have 4 different pods for the dashboard, and it's all by user. So you as your login user can create your own dashboard and somebody else can have their own dashboard. So you'll see the 4 different pods and you can basically create those however you want. To go create them, you have to click on this pencil icon in the right hand corner to get what you want to always come up on your pod. But like I said, I will go through that in the Training 3 video. So how Rick's Enterprise works, we basically have the 7 tabs up here. Now you see 8 here. I'm not even counting the alert tab up there. If you have the accounts receivable module, that is an extra cost, you will see this tab. If you don't have the accounts receivable module, you will not see this tab. So basically, if I just click on one of the tabs once, it opens it up. If I click on it twice, it closes it. Once it's open, I see you have the collapse, expand, and hide. So if I click on expand, it just expands it out from the plus sign so I can see what's below each item if it has items below it. And if I want to collapse it, I can click on collapse or I can click on hide to hide it. It's pretty self-explanatory of what each one. We try to make this really easy. So basically anything to do with reporting is going to be under reporting. You got all your reports that you need there. Anything that has to do with inventory, receiving, purchase orders, returning to the supplier, taking a physical, printing out labels, etc., that's going to be all under the inventory tab. Anything customer related will be under the customer tab. Anything that is setup related, setting up things in the system, setting up suppliers, classes, SKUs, size grids, etc., that will be all under the setup. And system, not a whole lot under system, which I'll touch here in a little bit. Mainly the time clock and any of the POS administration things, like if you need to void a ticket, edit a ticket, or if you need to install a POS to get the license key. Of course, if you have the AR module, you'll see that, and anything that has to do with AR. And then the wildcard tab is just an easy way to get to places, which I'll explain in a little bit. And then the help file, if you want to get directly to the help file, where all of the help documents and also the training videos you can get to from there as well. We're going to start with the reporting tab. Like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail with the reporting because I will have a separate Training 3 session that I will devote strictly to the details of reporting and the dashboard. So to get under the reporting tab, you just click on the reporting tab, and that will display everything below that has to do with reports. So the first thing is the report history. That is where all of your reports go when you run them. So as soon as you run those reports, it'll bring you to the report history where you can open them up, view them, you can print them out, you can email them, all from the report history area. Anything to do with sales reports is going to be under sales. So anything sales related, you'll have all of these different reports that you can run. And there's some key reports that I'll go over in our reporting session. Anything to do with inventory and purchase order reports will be under inventory/purchase orders. Anything to do with customer related reports you'll find under customer. The salesperson reports will be under salespeople. You have the salesperson analysis, summary, and also the time clock data report if you use the time clock function in Rex. Under POS, you have any reports that have to do with the point of sale. I would say the main report that you're going to run is the sales journal report. That'll show you everything that you did for that day. The ticket, cashier, salesperson, customer, the SKUs that they purchased, the sizes, how they paid, the totals, etc. Under file printouts, the majority of these reports, starting from supplier on down, are list type reports. If you want a list of all your suppliers, like their name, address, phone number, email, a list of all your SKUs, the information about the SKU, such as SKU number, description, cost, retail, size grid, it'll give you a one line of each SKU on that SKU file report. List of your classes, a list of your size grids, a list of your return codes. Any of these really from supplier on down are going to be list type reports. The one report that I think you'll really like is a store analysis report. It gives you basically a one-page report on things like cost of goods sold, your retail sales, your sales tax information, all of the tenders broken out, any gift card information that will be listed on this store analysis report. The saved and batch reports will be used if you have several reports, say like at the end of the month, that you create and save so you don't want to have to forget the reports that you liked. We can do that in Rex, where you can name those reports, select the parameters, and save them. You can pull them up within the reports, any of those saved reports, or like at the end of the month, if you have like say 5 to 10 reports that you guys like to run for your end of month reports, we can create a batch report, say called end of month reports. And then we could put those 5 to 10 reports in the batch that you created called end of month reports. And then at the end of the month, all we have to do is go to this run batch reports, and we can pull up your batch that says end of month reports and just run it, and it'll just automatically run those 5 to 10 reports that you set up. And you can do that really for anything. It's designed for any multiple reports that you run a lot, whether it's end of week reports, end of month reports, end of season reports, end of year reports, etc. You can create a batch and then be able to pull that up and run it. Any batches that you create will be viewed by anybody in the system that you give permission to. So creating and saved reports is by user right now. So if I wanted to save some reports for myself, I could create those, and if you logged in, you would not see those actual reports. Well, saved in batch reports, if I created a batch, say end of month reports, I only have to create that once because anybody else can pull up that end of month batch and run it, as long as they're a person that I've given permission to be able to do that through saved in batch reports. Data export, any report that you pull up, you can run to report, where you can view it, or you can export it into Excel already. This is just a separate area of data export type things. Like if you wanted to get a list of all your emails and you wanted to export that email list to Excel, we could provide the file for you by going through this export customer email, and it would export whatever you want, whether it's all your emails or maybe it's just, you know, all emails that have purchased a certain supplier. We can tailor it how you want, and we will export that customer email to Excel, and then from there you could take that Excel file and email it to, let's say if you used Constant Contact to send out all of your bulk emails, then you would do that through here. Just this would provide the file in Excel, and then from there you could just email that file to whoever's going to send out your email blast for you. And then there's some other things that you can export: customer purchase totals, customer all information, customer purchase details, etc. We also have a financial export. So if you don't have QuickBooks and you just want to export, you know, daily sales totals that you need, that you normally plug into your accounting program, if you run this financial export, we provide basically like an Excel spreadsheet of those types of figures that you would need to be able to manually put into your accounting program for your daily sales totals. We also have QuickBooks export, so if you're interested in that, we can give you information on how to get QuickBooks going so you can export your daily sales totals into QuickBooks as well. And we currently don't have open to buy finished in Rick's Enterprise, but all of the reports I will go through in a detailed fashion when I do the Training 3 video for your access. So that way I'll go over the key reports, I'll pull them up, show them to you what they look like, how to run them. We'll see them, you know, on the screen, and how you can print them out and email them. The next tab that I'm going to go over is the customer tab. I'm going to skip over inventory and come back to it here in a little bit. When you click on the customer tab, we have customer, gift card, and customer reporting. The customer, you're most likely going to be adding your customers at the POS when they come. If they're a brand new customer, you're going to add them at the point of purchase. But the back room also offers an area where you can get in and you can manage your customer, you can add any new customers, you can change any information about the customer, whether it's account number, phone number, address, and that will immediately go to your point of sale. So they'll be able to have those changes immediately. There's nothing special that needs to be done. Once you make any changes in here, it will go to the point of sale. So the manage customer, once I pull it up, that will have where you can either create a brand new customer or you can pull up any existing information about a customer that's already in your system and either just view it or if you need to change something about it. So here you have the account number. You have title if you wanted to put that. You have the first name. You can put a middle initial, last name. If you wanted to, do a junior, senior, second. Once you type in the full name and last name and middle initial, that will fill out the full name field. If you wanted to put a gender, you could. AR Post To is only for people that have the AR module, the Accounts Receivable module. If you have a frequent buyer program, this will display what plan they're on. You can do an address for either mailing or billing. This will have their address information. Once you type in a zip code and put that in, it'll fill in the city and state. We have an automatic zip code locator software built into the system to save you time. If you wanted to put a country, you could. Email is going to be really important. If they have an email address, go ahead and put that in. Phone number would be any additional phone numbers, like if they had a cell number that you wanted to put in, or you could just copy and paste. We have always recommended for the account number to use the phone number, the area code plus the number. No dashes, no slashes, no spaces, just all together. So that way you have a less of a chance of having duplicate, triplicate account numbers. We also have it if you absolutely don't want to use a phone number. We have this auto generate number where we can generate a number for you for that customer as the account number. You can still create the account number if you don't want to use a phone number, if you wanted to use a special system, whether it was typing in their name, you could do that as well for the account number. But we strongly recommend using the phone number as the account number or using this auto generate number here. You'll notice any blue line on the screen just means that that is a required field. So obviously the account number is required. All of the other fields are optional, but for the most part you're going to fill in a lot of this information anyway. To the right we have custom entries. You can create custom entries for customers in Rick's Enterprise. That's all through the setup and manage custom entries, which I'll touch here in a little bit. But if you do create a custom entry, it'll show up here and it will show up at the POS. This is just an example, like do they want to be on the mailing list? You could put Y or something like that. That's a text area. Birth month. We already keep track of the birth date down at the bottom left, so I would use the birth date section down at the bottom if you're going to keep track of their birth date. There might be things like if you as a store have a supplier that comes in over the weekend and has what's called a trunk show, and the customer wants to be notified every time you have one of those trunk shows. I have customers that will create a custom entry called trunk show, and then they'll select that at the POS as a selection, and that way you can pull up any report in Rick's to say, give me a list of those customers that want to be notified for the trunk show. Another example would be if you have doctors that refer their patients to you to come in and purchase shoes, you could create a custom entry called doctor referrals and even have those specific doctors listed. So when you create their account, you can click on that and save it. Then you can pull up any report, say, give me a list of the customers that have been referred by this doctor. And maybe you do something special for that doctor, give them a gift card to a restaurant or whatever the case may be. But just another creative way of creating a custom entry where you just want to pull out additional information about that customer that's not already here, in the fields. Because we already keep track of what suppliers the customer buys from, what classes they buy from, the SKUs, the style numbers that they buy, the sizes, how much they spend. So any of that kind of stuff we can already pull up on a customer report. This would just be any other additional things that you want to keep track of and be able to pull up on a customer report. Custom attributes is the same line as custom entries, but custom attributes allows you to do it more in a free-flowing text format if you just want to type in something. Custom entries would be more like either selecting a checkbox or a radio dial, where you have to check a certain option that's already listed. Custom attributes would be more I can just type in some free-flowing text if I want to. Child relationships, so if I'm the main person on this account and I want to keep track of maybe my spouse, my children, I can click on this and I can add the child or spouse or whoever I want to be associated under my account. So I can put first name, last name, birthday, and add them as a new relationship. Parent relationships would kind of be the other way around. If I want my account to be associated with this parent relationship account, maybe I work for a company and that company is created as an account and I want to be associated under that account, then I can be under that parent relationship account. You can look at their purchase history here. You can look at their tender history, what they paid with, MasterCard, Visa, cash, check, through these tabs up at the top. And it's real easy to look a customer up. You can use this quick lookup where you click on the magnifying glass icon or the lookup button, or I like the view lookup tool where you just click on view lookup, and we can look up a customer on the back end by last name, first name, account number, address, city, state, zip, email, and then there's this %sign. Anytime you see a %sign, that's considered a wildcard. So I could type in a % and maybe I knew that the last name was Smith or Smithson or Smithley or something like that. I wasn't sure what it was, then I could click on lookup, and this would bring up anybody that has Smith somewhere in their last name. And then when I want to select them, I can just click on select, and that will bring that customer information up on the screen, whether I just want to view it or I want to change something about it. Change the address, the phone number, the email, whatever I want to do, I can do that. So you'll see once I select it, it has all the information up on the screen. And if I wanted to, I could look at their purchase history or their tender history, what they've paid, etc. The other things under customer that you'll be able to use, export customer address to UPS. If you have UPS and you do a lot of shipping, we have a function that we can export the customer address to your UPS, and that just makes it easy for you. Merge customers, if you find that you have duplicate information, it's really one customer, but for some reason I have them in my system 3 different ways, 3 different accounts, and I want to merge those accounts into that one account, I can come into merge customers to do that. Gift card, if you sell gift cards in your store, this is where you could come in on the back end and manage that gift card. If you needed to change something about it, edit that, delete it, things like that, you can go through this manage gift card. And know that all these things that I'm touching and going over, there will also be training videos on each topic to give a little more detail to each area. Gift card activity report, if you want to report on all of your gift cards to see where they're at. The gift cards, that are outstanding, gift cards that have been used, you'll see that on this report. And then a great thing that we've added recently is this add stored value card. So, this would not be when someone buys a gift card from you. This would be more if you want to donate a gift card, whether it's for a donation, charity, maybe it's a promotion that you're doing. We can go in through this add store value card and we can add any gift cards on the back end, so that way they'll be at your POS and people can use them. So you'll see I can either just, if I had one gift card that I was giving away or doing for promotion, I could either scan that gift card if I had the kind of gift cards that had the barcode on the back, or I could type in the gift card number here. I could go to amount, put the amount, and then click on create stored value card at the bottom, and that would create that card and be available at the POS to use. Or I have customers that, maybe they're giving away 100 gift cards at $10 a piece. So here's where you can choose the range of store value cards, put the beginning from card number to card number, that would be the 100 cards and put $10 here and click on create store value card, and that would create all of those gift cards for you at $10 a piece, just like that. So you'd have 100 cards ready to go to be able to give out and for people to use at the POS. And the other things under customer would be customer reporting. Now, the customer reporting is also under reporting and customer. So it's the same exact reports that are under customer that if I go to customer and customer reporting. So it just puts them in a different area, so it's convenient for you whether you want to go to reporting and customer and run your reports, or you go to customer and customer reporting. Those reports will be there as well in this area. Customer list, that's going to be your report that you're going to be able to pull up, give you a lot of information, a lot that you can do in here, whether you want a list of customers that have purchased a particular supplier from a particular class, a particular SKU or SKUs, colors, if they've spent, say $200 and above, a list of your best-selling customers, maybe a customer that has purchased just in the last month. So there's a lot of neat ways that you'll be able to pull up information on this customer list report, which will be, on a separate training video to give you the actual details of that report. But this is where you would go to run a report to get, a lot of different kind of information to pull out of Enterprise. Customer analysis would be more, I'm analyzing my customers, where they're coming from, what zip code they're coming from, also like a retention rate. If the customers that have made a purchase this year, are they customers that, were my customer last year and the year before? What is my retention rate? So there's a lot of neat things that you can get in that customer analysis report related, to that. If you were doing your own mailing labels, maybe you were doing a mailer, you were sending out postcards or a letter, you can print out your own mailing labels through here. There's a customer family list. There is, if you want to be specific, customer reports based on special orders or layaways or house payments and charges or store credits, you can get those specific type of reports through here. And then children's birthday report. We say children's birthday report, but it's really anybody that you've recorded birthday and Rick's that you can pull up a report. If you want to list on, anybody that has February birthdays, you can do that through here. So that's the customer reporting. The next tab that I'm going to go over is the System tab. I'm going to skip over Setup and come back to that. The main tabs in TrainingOne that we will cover a lot on will be the Setup tab and the Inventory tab. But this tab is the System tab. Anytime you go into the System tab is really when you want to go and navigate to the correct store that you're wanting to do these types of things for. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the magnifying glass icon up at the top right hand corner, and I'm actually going to select a store that I want to do the options through the System tab. There's not a whole lot on the System tab. There's the time clock. This time clock is really, the time clock administrator. Whoever you give permissions to, whether it's the owner or manager, that would be more the time clock administrator. It doesn't mean that they're clocking in and out, because at the POS is really where people clock in and out. This would be more if you need to, someone forgot to clock in, if you want to clock them in, if you want to delete a time, adjust a time, modify a time, look up times, you as the time clock administrator will have the permission to do that through time clock. So you'll see once you come in here, you'll see all the open records. You can edit any of the open records, delete them just by checking on that. You can manage any records. You can add a new record if someone forgot to clock in or clock out. You can go ahead and add a new record there. So that's where you do all of the administrative type things that have to do with the time clock. Then there's POS administration. So the things under POS administration that you can do is void ticket. Now this means that I want to void a ticket after that ticket's been completed. whether it was a ticket that was completed today, yesterday, a week ago. This is where we can go into void ticket. Now remember, you need to be at that store at the top right hand corner that you want to void the ticket for. And again, you'll see this quick lookup. I like to click on the view lookup, and I can look tickets up by the ticket number, store, start date, end date. If I just click on lookup, that'll bring up all my tickets for that store, and I can click on more to open up more tickets. And if I want to void it, I can just click on select, and that'll bring that ticket up on the screen. If I wanted to put any comment here, I could, or SKU comment, and then I could click on void ticket. It'll say, are you sure? And then it'll void that ticket. This is really something that you should only give permission to, like an owner or a manager, to be able to come in here and void tickets after the fact. This does not void any credit card authorization. So if you use an integrated credit card like XCharge through us, if you come in here and void the ticket, that does not void the credit card transaction. So you would have to do that separately through XCharge, or the credit card program that we would integrate with. Right now it's just XCharge. In the future we'll be able to integrate with other programs. So just a note to make sure that you realize that. The other things under POS administration would be edit ticket. Not a whole lot that you can edit on a ticket, but if you need to, I guess a big example would be if I rang up a ticket under the wrong salesperson and I needed to change a salesperson. So instead of having to reverse the whole ticket as a return and redo it as a sale, you could come back here as an owner or manager, and you could again look up the ticket. You could select that ticket, and then you could change things like the salesperson. So if this person wasn't the one that sold it, I can change it to a different one, and it'll tell you this will alter their commission if you do any commissions. I can put a little SKU comment on it if I want. I could change the cashier. I could change the promotion code if there was one, and I could change the sale type, and I could also put a comment on it. So those are really the only things that you can edit about a ticket, and then when you're done you can click on save. Again, you have to be at that store number level that you want to edit the ticket at. Other things that you could do is reprint a ticket. Now at the POS you can also reprint tickets there, but if you wanted to reprint a ticket on the back end, you could come here through System, POS Administration, and reprint ticket. And again, you have to be at that correct store level at the top right. So I could go into reprint ticket, and if I wanted to reprint a ticket from today, yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, I could come in here, and again I could look up that ticket and look it up, select it, and then once I select it, it'll come up on the screen. I can view it, or I can click on reprint ticket, and that will reprint that ticket for me. And then the other thing under POS administration is POS terminal management. You strictly go into this only when you install your POS on your computer for the first time, or if you got a new computer and you need to install a POS there, or uninstall and reinstall. This is where you go in to get a license key. It requires a license key to be able to snap and install that POS, so all of your data comes down to that POS. So this is where you would go in, and we can help you with this, if you need to do that, but that's where that's located. Import is something new. You may not even see this on your screen. This is something that normally we at Rick's would help you and take care of it for you. Eventually this is something that will show up on your screen, but if you ever needed to import SKUs or UPCs or gift cards or customers, etc., this is where you could import information from, like an Excel spreadsheet type thing. We have a process to be able to import it into Rick's Enterprise. And then system administration is just if you want to view a system status. That's something new that's coming up here in the future. That basically just tells you what screens people have been in that are logged into Enterprise. You can view who's logged on into Enterprise, and then you can manage messages. If you wanted to plug a message in when someone logged in to Rick's Enterprise and you wanted that message to pop up on the homepage, the message board, you could do that through here. That's pretty much all that's under the system. So just keep in mind when you're under system, you really just change it to that store number for the most part, you know, if it has anything to do with your voiding or editing or time clock, you know, areas. The next tab that I'm going to talk about is the wildcard tab. The wildcard tab is a time-saving technique for you, so kind of along the same lines as favorites. If you want to get somewhere quick, you can, you know, select on one of your favorites. Here, if I type in or scan a SKU and say I want to have it bring me automatically to the inventory inquiry screen, I can type in that SKU or scan the item and I can click on lookup, and that will bring me directly to inventory and inventory inquiry with that SKU up on the screen, and I'll be able to see that SKU and all the information through inventory inquiry. Or I could, you know, do the same thing. I could put in the SKU, and instead of inventory inquiry, maybe I want to go to manage SKU and then click on lookup, and that would bring me to setup and manage SKU, and I would be able to see that SKU up on the screen. The other things that you can use the wildcard for would be if you want to look information up in your store. You know, if you have multiple stores, you can put in that store number, click on lookup, and that'll bring you to setup, and that'll bring you to your store information where you have your store address, phone number, email. You can go to users if you wanted to, you know, bring up a user and change something about them. You could type in that user, click on lookup, and that would bring you to set up and manage users. Same thing with the customer. If I had a customer account number that I wanted to type in here, you know, I can look them up by either account number, first name, or last name. That's where I would type that information here. So if I'm on account number, I would type in the account number. If I wanted to look them up by last name, then I could type in their last name here and click on lookup, and that would bring up my options here, and it would bring me directly to customer and manage customer, where I could pull up that customer right up on the screen. So here, you know, it's saying the last name, pulled up several options here, and if I found them, I could select them, and here I am automatically on customer and manage customer. So wildcard is just designed to save you time. If you want to get to one of the screen options quickly, you can look something up by SKU number, whether it's to bring you to the inventory inquiry or manage SKU screen, by store to bring you up to the store setup screen, by user to bring you up to manage user screen, or customer to be able to bring you up to look up a customer information. The next tab that I'm going to talk about is the Help tab. So by clicking on the Help tab, that'll bring up the entire Help area. Or if I was on a particular screen, say inventory and inventory inquiry, that would bring up the Help topic right on that screen about inventory inquiry. Plus you'd still be able to access any other topic. So you can either click on the Help tab or press F1 on your keyboard, and that will bring you directly into the Help. The Help is a work in progress. There is a lot of help documents out there, whether they're help documents or training videos. So if there's an area that you don't see help on, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be. It's just not out there yet. But I think you will find that there are a lot of areas that already do have help topics on it, help documents or training videos for you. So once you're in the Help area, to the left you'll see the different books here. So these are laid out like the tabs on the screen: reporting, inventory, customer, setup, system, AR, point of sale. So for example, if I wanted to know something in the setup area, I wanted to know how to create a SKU, I could click on the setup book and it would bring up everything under setup. So I want to know about how to create SKUs. I could go into Manage SKUs, and to the right it's going to bring over like 4 different areas that you'll be able to look at. Now the first area is what I call field descriptions. It's more of what is this field. So if I click on the General tab on Manage SKUs, it just tells me what is the SKU field, the supplier code field, the class field, etc. So that's the field descriptions. The next part is the step-by-step procedures. So this would be the step-by-step help document on how to create a SKU. So this would be when I go into Manage SKU, there is a General tab, a Grid tab, and a UPC tab. So I could click on this, and this would give me step-by-step instructions on the General tab and Manage SKUs of how I create that SKU. And then if I wanted to know, on the Size Grid tab, what do I do there? I click on that, and that'll give me the step-by-step directions. And if I wanted to just view a video on how do I set up a new SKU, or how do I attach a size grid to a SKU, anything that has to do with the SKU, I can click on that, and it would bring up the video that I could click on and play. And that brings you to YouTube basically, and you will hear my voice, and I will take you through visually step by step, and you can hear me on how to create a SKU, based on the General tab or the Grid tab or the UPC tab, etc. Then the last part is the frequently asked questions. So that's something new that we're starting to do. So we try to think of every question that you would ask as a customer and ask that question, and then if you click on it, provide the answer for that. So that's something new that we have, but we'll be starting to build, frequently asked questions for you to look at. So that's basically the 4 sections to the help area. So again, if you click on something, you might not see all 4 areas. We try to at least put a training video out there so you can view it visually and hear, step by step how to do it. You may have video training and step by step, or you may have, all 3 or all 4. But like I said, it's a work in progress. So if you just want to know about, say, reporting, you can click on reporting. And maybe I want to know something about sales and the sales analysis report. Here you have the field description, some step-by-step procedures, and a video for it. So, and then if you want to get out of the help area, you can just click on the red X in the right hand corner, and that will get you out of help.